Hi, today we're going to work on For Elise by Beethoven. It's in the key of A minor. You can find this out of several classical guitar books. This one was just out of a basic to intermediate arrangement. It starts off with a M finger on the high string, E, and the index finger on the 4th fret, D sharp, and that's the introductory melody there. Kind of like that, but that's that main thing that you always hear. Okay, so you're going to go back and forth between the E and the D sharp. Then the melody is an open B, and then a D, and then a C. Now, at this point, you can use a 3rd finger on the D and a 1st finger on the C, or you can use a 4th finger on the D and a 1st finger on the C. Doesn't matter to me. It's the 3rd finger or the 4th finger. I'll probably use my 4th. I always do. And then I'm going to go right into an A minor shape, but immediately I have to put my little finger down on the C, which kind of creates what you would consider A minor / C, or you could call it A6 or C6 or something like that, kind of a chord. But it's basically A minor with a C that becomes the bass note there for a second. So it's just A minor over C. It's just a bit of an inversion there. So it's going to go like this. Okay, it goes on to E, but I'll stop there. Now, for the purpose of this tune, I've decided to use my thumb for all of the wound strings. So the 3 bass strings, E, A, and D, whenever there's a note that occurs on those 3 strings, I'm just going to use my thumb. So in that second full measure there, what you've got is this. You've got the index finger playing the G string and the thumb playing the A note on the 5th string. And then the little finger comes down on the C. So the thumb's going to do a little bit of work there. And back to the index finger. Okay, then I go to this chord, which would be E major. Instead of holding the full E major chord, I've already got the 2nd finger on the E and the 1st finger on the G. Well, the 1st finger wasn't there, but I'm going to put the 1st finger on the G sharp. So, for instance, it's this. Then the B note here, which would be there for an E major chord, isn't listed. It's not being played, so there's no sense in switching my fingering because I've already got this nice little shape that was similar to this one. I just go like that. So try to look for those similarities. You can use them to your advantage. And on this one, the middle finger plays the open B, the thumb comes down and hits the 4th string E note, index finger on the G sharp. So, and then to a standard A minor shape. And that, again, the thumb is playing all the 3 low wound strings. Okay, so the second half is slightly different. It starts off the same. And then a C to open B, and then you're going to play the A minor shape again. And that kind of concludes that first phrase. Then it moves on right away. B, C, D, into a C shape. So here you go, it's an E. Since it's a 4-string pattern, that's my opportunity to use my A finger. So you want to look for those things. If you've got, if you look at the measure and you see 4 different strings being played, that gives you an opportunity to get the A finger in there. So I use the A finger on the high E string, I use the index finger on the G string, and the middle finger on the B string. And then there's 2 notes, an F to an E on the high string. You can either use M, I, or A, M. right there. So that was MI, that was AM. Doesn't really matter. And then this is the part that's probably the only tricky part in the song. It's a G7 chord, but you're going to put the second finger on the G note of the low string. You're going to put the little finger on the D. The score that I had didn't say this, but I changed it because it makes more sense. The third finger will then come in later on the third fret of the fourth string, which is an F. So I'll play that measure right there. It goes like this. So I'm going to play the thumb. That's the thumb part. And then the other fingers, we've got the, again, it's index on the G string, middle finger on the B string, A finger on the high string. So it's going to come into this new section like this. I'll do it again. Now one more time. Got to get that. Then A minor. Pretty simple stuff. And then it goes to an E minor shape. And that is your standard E minor. The thumb's going to play some stuff here on the low notes like this. Then back. And it starts the pattern again. This. This arrangement goes back. Pretty simple arrangement, but when you play it a little bit faster, it has more interest, you know. So like I said, that the measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like the 8th or 9th measure here. It's in the B section. After you go to that C chord, so it'd be part 2 if you want to think of it that way. This is the only part that seems like it might be a little tricky. So I'll try to play a little faster. So again, it's not super hard, but it sounds really nice if you speed it up a little bit, and everybody knows it, and it's such a nice little famous song to play. It's a good warm-up, and you want to try to use dynamics and things like that once you get all the fingerings down, especially on that part that goes... So right there, I started off kind of slower. I brought the tempo down, I stretched it out, and then I made it sound like there was energy. Because again, when you have a repeated note or a repeated phrase, you don't want to play it the same way twice or even 3 times in a row. It gets really boring for the listener. So you want to add some interest there, like slow it down and then speed it up a little bit, or make it sound faster, or change the timbre of the guitar. So I'll try that one more time from here. Something like that. So you just, try to add some emotional content to it, or make it a little more dramatic sounding. If you play it straight all the way through, it's just going to sound a little bit boring. So that's for Elise, and like I said at the beginning, there's a couple of classical guitar books that have this in it. I can't remember which one right now, but it's a very simple score. It's only a couple pages, but it's a nice little thing to learn and play. So hope that helps. Thanks.